cool. I'm red because of this friggin' lampshade. Wait, here he is. Hang on. You there?
Can you hear me better now?
Way better. Hang on. I just went live, so just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to merge you with the other clown.
So, just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to merge you.
Oh, wait a minute. Shut off the computer in the background. You're feeding back.
There's no computer. I'm nowhere near a computer.
It's off.
I just heard myself. You good?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine now. A lot better. Paul, you there? I mean, Trigger, you there?
10-4.
All right. First, let me read the disclaimer to the gang or whoever's watching. As usual.
Mike, I gotta ask you a question. If I want to mute something, how do I do it, or you do it? What do I tell you? I don't want to hear nonsense.
It's only going to be the three of us, and if any nonsense happens, I'm going to get rid of that person.
Okay, sir.
There won't be any muting. There'll be goodbye.
Okay,
let me make it clear, Rocco. In the real world, I don't put up with any. I don't allow nonsense. This is us talking as adults. This isn't horseplop. I'll just say it like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
But anyway, let me read the disclaimer first. The views and opinions expressed by guests appearing on Equine Advocacy Alliance live streams are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, positions, or policies of Equine Advocacy Alliance. We are not responsible for any statements, claims, or opinions made by our guests. All right. But like I was just saying to these guys, you know what? We live in the real world. We allow ourselves to get tied up in their nonsense. Some guys, do it for entertainment, whatever, but this is what matters. And what I'm going to make it quick, like I said about Rocco 2 weeks ago. This is the kind of guy that this business needs. He's the kind of guy, the owner who works, lives in reality, has a business, earns his money, loves horse harness racing, loves the horses, loves the game, going to the track, buying horses, standing out on the apron. The way we grew up, this kind of guy who's getting further and fewer between is what kept this business alive. Now it's run by the top 5%, 3%, 2%. Little guys can't keep up. And guys like him, who are the guys that sustain this industry, are disappearing. So anyway, without further ado, I'm not going to introduce you as that other name. How do you say your last name, Rocco? Is it Ruffalo or Ruffolo?
Ruffalo.
Ruffalo. Okay, Rocco Ruffalo. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing. You could call me Rocky. Everybody calls me Rocky.
Okay.
Everybody calls me Rocky, but Irv Miller. Irv calls me Rocco. It is what it is. So what I want to talk about a little bit tonight, Mike. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'm a little nervous. I don't do this, but I like you. Even though we had a little difference back a couple of years back, I like you, and I like what you stand for. This is not horse plops. I don't want it to be horse plops, but I'm telling you a little bit of stuff about me. How I started, had the car business. The car business led me to the horse business. So let me get started. 1984, I was at DePaul. I was a sophomore in DePaul. Summer and spring break. My dad said, "What do you want to do for summer? Get a job, summer job." My dad had friends. He said, "Go see Mr. Solozzi Edelson Chevrolet, the biggest Chevrolet dealership in the country at the time. This is not a used car lot. To some of these morons, this is not a mod's used car lot. This is a dealership. We sold 700 cars a month." Mr. Solozzi took a liking to me. This is 1984 now, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
My first 3 months there, I made $65,000. That's all true. I told my dad, "This is great." 3 months. I started to fall in love with the car business. I told my dad, give me a year in the car business. I'll go back to school. I can always go back to school. I fell in love with the car business. The car business is the greatest job to me anybody can ever have. If you're alive and you can breathe, you can make $80,000. If you don't have brain one in the car business, not one brain, just standing, you'll make $80,000. If you're good, 150, 200. There's a lot of couple car guys on plops that are they're personal friends of mine. They could attest to the living. The living's great. Mm-hmm. So let's move a little bit further. I talked my dad into letting me sell cars for a while, and I loved it. Back in 85, 84, 86, 87. You're making 100, 110. I'm 23 years old, 24 years old. And back that time, 100,000 is 300,000. You know what I'm saying, Mike?
Yep.
Just crazy. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved the car business. The owner loved me. I just loved what I was doing. So I disappointed my father. I didn't go back to school. Now we're getting into how I started a horse business. In 2003, I was at a different dealership. I don't want to say names. These are very, very good friends of mine, the owners and everybody. In 2003, I met my first trainer. He came in looking for a truck. His name was Jose Williams. Jose Williams said, Rock, you got to come in the horse business. You'll love it. You'll love it. You'll love it. Well, the year before, my dad had passed away in 2003. And I was not in the mood. I was depressed. And 2 years before that, my little sister, Adrian, passed away in Saudi Arabia. She graduated from Pepperdine. Genius. Plus, besides being gorgeous, not making it up, she was like very smart. Her and her friends from Pepperdine started a company in Saudi Arabia, and she worked 6 months here and 6 months there. They would rotate. She died at 31 years old.
Wow.
Something got in her system out there, and that was one. Then my dad got real sick in 2003. Then he passed away in March of 2003. I was in the car business. I was okay. I wasn't having fun because of family stuff. I met Jose Williams. He said, come on. Just have some fun. I'll buy a cheap horse. And I started buying a cheap horse. My first horse, I ended up buying a horse with Jose for myself. I didn't have partners until about 2014 when I started with Irv. And a little bit with Roger back in 2011 or 12. I was always by myself, always owned horses by myself, 100%. When I had partners, the least I've ever owned was 25. The most I ever owned was 100%. So we started with the first horse. Jose talked me into, Rock, just try this horse. It was $15,000. I bought him off of Tony Morgan. His name was Sure Dream. I said, okay. Now, I don't know nothing about the horse business. Okay, I don't know nothing about the horse business. So I'm learning as I go along in the bills. I know nothing about bills. I know nothing about what's going on or how you get billed. I know nothing. So 2 weeks as soon as we got the horse, I really don't know the terminology. He got really, really sick with his intestines that tying up, or they had emergency surgery or something to save his life.
Or something?
Colic, something like that. I'm not with the technical names of horses and the makeup. I really didn't know at the time. I didn't know. So I said, Jose said, Rock, you need $3,000 or the horse will die. I don't like, first of all, I never had a horse. This is my first horse, I ain't dying. I said, do what you got to do. He paid the bills. He luckily lived. He raced, but he was no good.
They never come back.
We raced him a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they don't come back.
No.
We raced him as a claimer.
Rarely.
A claimer back then. And eventually, about a year later, I said, Jose, I don't want. I was always by myself. The horse was mine. I said, Benny, out. Then I bought another claimer with Jose, Apprentice. I love this horse for some reason. An A claimer. I started out with claiming. I started out with cheap horses.
Everybody does.
And his name was Apprentice. And the motherfucker, he loved to be second. Andy Miller drove him. This is back in Chicago now. I thought Andy drove him. Brett Howland drove him. And Andy told one time he gets there, but he just won't pass. But anyways, I kept him for about 2 years. So this is like 2008. And then I got real sour. I said, I don't want to do this. I'm making good money. My dad, rest his soul, took care of me. I can't have what I have without my dad, but that's all I'm going with that. I don't want to talk about my dad. Just
nobody's business.
Right. But dad was great to me, and I prayed to him 4 times a day. I was just at the cemetery visiting him, my grandmother and my grandfather. They're Queen of Heaven. So a couple of years later, I met another trainer coming to the dealership looking for a pickup truck. His name was Roger Welch. I call him RW. Great horseman. great trainer. He introduced me to. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. He bought my first horse I bought with Roger was Dove Bears Green, another claimer. He said, claim this horse. We bought him from, I believe, in upper parts of Canada. And me and PJ were partners. Another one, or I didn't know them at the time. We ended up being good friends, and PJ helped me with something else. I'll get later on into the story. I had a great time with Roger. I bought a horse. I was partners with him on. He had a horse. I didn't want to get into him. I wanted a piece of him, so I bought half of Dr. Alfonso. He was a nice horse, a good horse. He was an Illinois bred. I never raced anything out of Illinois until 2014. I was all just Illinois. I loved Illinois racing. Maywood Park, Maywood Park, and Balmoral Park. I used to race from work, walk my dog, tell my girlfriend I'll see you about 10 o'clock. I raced to Balmoral on Saturday night because you literally have 4,000 or 5,000 people at the apron. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Maywood Park on a Friday night. Ridiculous. Literally 7,000, 8,000 people there. Literally, that's when racing was great in Chicago.
That's what I mean about what's missing. Guys like you and that atmosphere. It's gone. It's dying. It's dead.
So then back to Roger. This is years ago, so I'm just going by memory. We became kind of good friends. We more than trained, we have friends. We eat and play around, and I had a problem. My major problem when I first started, I made too many calls to the trainer. I would call every day. I didn't know better. I didn't know better to play with. What's going on with my horse? What's going on with my... Mm-hmm. You can't do that. And that was 100% my fault.
Oh, every trainer
and Roger told me, Roger, right, you can't talk to me every day. You got 3 horses. If something's wrong, and I couldn't understand that. So then I bought a horse called Gibbs. It was really a nice Illinois bred. Well, this is all with Roger. Aaliyah Maria was great. She won I bought her, I want to say 2012, right before the Violent Stakes. And I told Roger, I like this horse. I'm going to go buy it from Freddie. I can't think of the last name. He passed away. Freddie and his wife. Aaliyah Maria was the name of the horse. Mm. She ends up two weeks later. She runs second in the eliminations. I win the Violet with Aaliyah Maria. This is great. I got from top of the world. I love my horses. And then I had a great time. Roger taught me a lot. The best thing Roger ever said to me, you want to learn? You know how you're going to learn? You'll learn through your pockets. That's the only way you're going to learn the horse business. You're going to make mistakes and it's going to cost you. If you can handle the costs, it's fun. If whoever told you the bullshit, Mike, that I'm killing them in the horse business is a fucking liar. If you got money to throw away, if you got money to enjoy and play, you go on horses. You ain't going to make a living. You're going to make a killing. I don't want to hear about everybody. It's a bunch of fucking lies. Okay? It's a bunch of fucking, you might get one. Like I had 3 good years in 25 racing. 25 racing years, I had 3 good years. Everything else was disappointing. But Roger told me, right, you want to learn? You're going to learn through your pocketbooks, making mistakes. If you can handle it, then you enjoy the horses. If you can't handle it, this is not your hobby. This ain't a hobby for you.
It's true.
It could be, they call it a business. They call it a business. It's not a business, Mike. It's not a business. It's a hobby. If you can enjoy it. The big guys, yeah. Our brigade, all them guys, those are huge. I am not a huge owner. I never claimed to be. I never said I was. Nothing. So back to Roger. We buy a couple of Illinois bred babies. My first wing into the babies. I buy a horse called Lucpark. Lucpark was named after my dog Luke. And in Chicago, I'll tell you the whole story. In Chicago, the property in Chicago is ridiculous. I mean, wherever you live, it's ridiculous. So behind my house, there was two and a half city lots for sale. I said, okay, I made the numbers right. I bought the city lots, put another 100,000 into the yard. So Luke had his own park. So we named him Luke Park. So that's the name Luke Park. Luke Park won the Governor's Cup for me in 2014 with Irv. Me and Roger had kind of a fallout, and it was my fault. 99% of the time was my fault. I was kind of a dick. I talk to them too much. I tell the truth. When I'm wrong, 100%, I'll tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not here to be liked. You don't like me? Good. That's fine. But it was 99. Roger is a premier trainer. Your babies and 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. He'd always be Mickey. The great horse always be Mickey.
Yep.
Roger had him as a 3-year-old. He was next to my horse Gibbs. I petted him all the time. Roger trained always be Mickey as a 3-year-old. 1,000% fact. Roger fixed that horse because they messed him up as a 2-year-old. Roger fixed that horse. I was there. I saw it. I didn't know how great he was going to be, but that's always be Mickey. So me and Roger had kind of a fallout, and this is 2013. I felt I was mistreated. Maybe Roger was right on a lot of things. Maybe I was wrong on a lot of things. Roger said, Rocco, we're not getting along. Why don't you just seek another trainer? PJ was one of the owners with Roger before, was with Irv. You just can't walk into Irv and say, here, train my horses. That doesn't go. That's dreamers. Mm-hmm. You have to be introduced. I was taught you have to be introduced. PJ introduced me to Irv. Irv, in my opinion, the best horse trainer I've ever met. And I met a lot of them. I don't know them. Irv Miller taught me things that I would never learn about horses. He was great. He's the best I've ever met. And he's a great man. We go to dinners. We go to dinners when we're in Florida. Me, him, Doug Overheiser, I met. I'll go on with Doug a little while later. He's awesome. So the week that this was like, I want to say 2013, probably the latter part of 2013, I wanted to go to Irv. I didn't tell Roger that. Nobody knows that, but me and PJ. I took the horses out of the barn, just pulled them out. I guess that's not etiquette because Roger almost called the FBI. Your horses are missing. He's panicking.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't do that.
Wait. This is a fucking classic, one of my classic stories. Roger, Mike Arnold, he passed away, rest in peace, was working for Irv. We put the horses in Mike's barn. The fucking Roger had the race secretary call me. Roger called everybody but the vets because I owed him for a training month. Money's everything.
That's another reason.
The race secretary, you can't make up these stories. The race secretary calls me up, Rocky, where are the exact words? Where are your fucking horses? I don't know. Messing around with them. I don't know. What are you going to do? There's some disappear. We'll find them. He calls my farm, where I was partners with this kid Dino on his farm. Not partners. His horse. He owned the farm. Some of my horses were there, just sitting there for a while. Anyways, the race secretary all night. This happened. This happened on a Sunday afternoon. I know it was like yesterday.
That's
Roger
even worse.
Said, what?
You did it on a Sunday?
What did you say?
That looks bad all the way around.
Yes.
You do it on the off
the Lord's
day.
Day.
The only thing you didn't do is at 3 in the morning.
The Lord. No, this was 3 in the afternoon. This was 11 in the morning. I'm telling you, I'm a little difficult. But anyways, the race secretary goes, Rocky, do you owe Roger any money? I said, yeah, he'll be paid Monday. Needless to say, Monday he got a check. I moved the horses to Irv. First thing Irv asked me, do you owe Roger any money? I said, no, he was paid 2 days ago. He goes, Irv took me in. Irv is awesome, but there's no shenanigans with Irv. There's no shenanigans with Irv. Irv is phenomenal. I can't say anything more than Irv is the best of the best. To me.
And then everybody's entitled to that.
What?
Everybody's entitled to that. That's something people just don't get. That's your guy. Be happy with that. God bless you. But, my first horse was Lucpark. We won the Governor's Cup. Then I gave him Gibbs, and I gave him Lucpark's sister, Narcissistic. She was junk. I lost more money chasing brothers and sisters. That's the worst thing in the horse business is chase brothers and sisters. So come with my Illinois breds, I'm going back and forth because now I'm still racing at Balmoral with Irv 13, 14, 15, and 16. I was just racing Illinois breds with Irv.
Then 2016 at the Indiana sale, which was October of 2016. I bought one of my favorite horses. We paid $44,000 for him. Irv said, "Rocky, take it." I took it full. Then Irv, one of his owners who I never met before, and he's phenomenal, Dr. Anthony Lombardi. Great partner. Besides, he's awesome to be around with. So his name was Tony. My father's name was Ed today, but they called him Tony. Mm-hmm. So I said, "Can we name him Rock and Tony?" He was a Rock and Image. The name stuck, Rock and Tony. That's how the horse. He was great as an Indiana bred. Back at the days in 17, he finished second in the super final. I don't want to say nothing. Just bad luck. 2017. 2017, we were the champions. I'm sorry. 16, we ran second. 2017, we were the Indiana bred 3-year-old champion, Rock and Tony. Great. I was happy. Happy. And Irv was great. I mean, that's the February. Why I keep saying that. February of 2016, when he's a 2-year-old, Irv called. I never forget it. Irv called me up. He's training. He trained him at the Meadowlands as a 2-year-old. He said, "Rocco, this is a nice horse." Because this is a nice horse. I said, "Great." So 2017, we win the Indiana State Champion 3-year-old. The Breeders' Crowns are in Indiana. We put Rock and Tony in the Breeders' Crown. He's 48-1. We win the elimination. We beat Fear the Dragon. Fear the Dragon was great at the time. He's a shit sire, but he was great. We beat Fear the Dragon. We won at 48-1. I'm ecstatic. We ended up being the favorite in the Breeders' Crown as a 3-year-old. We drew the 1 hole, I believe. Bad trip. We got shuffled. We finished 6th, I want to say. But that Breeders' Crown was nothing like the greatest thing. That's my greatest thing I've ever experienced in the horse business. What's winning the Breeders' Crown elimination? That's my claim to fame. I have had some nice horses. From 2000 and I forgot one trainer. From 2014 till 2017, I was with Jimmy Ellison in Illinois. He passed away in 2017 of throat cancer. I put my fingers in some overnights with Jimmy. Jimmy was a great trainer for older horses, can fix legs, feet. Great trainer. And he knew. And I don't know if you ever heard of Jimmy Ellison. That's how I met your brother. Jimmy Ellison was at Dana Palm's farm.
Okay.
In Chicago, near Balmoral. I want to say about maybe 3 miles from Balmoral. Dana's farm. And that's where Jimmy was stabled with all his horses. And I would go there every Thursday because Thursday's been my day off. I would go there every Thursday, watch my horse train, shoot the shit with Jimmy, have lunch. I met your brother there. Your nephews were kids. Your brother was okay with me. We weren't close. I just high and by and always, horses. But that's another trainer that I missed. Then from, I want to say, after the 2017, I kind of drifted a little bit from Irv. I was in just make a change. I went with Jamie McCumber. A lot of laughs. I love her. I told her one of my favorite years of racing was 2019. I started with her at 18 with just one horse, Rocky J. Squirrel. He was nothing. And then I ended up buying some Indiana. I bought 3 babies with Jamie, and then a couple overnights. We bought this horse. Ricky went to Pennsylvania, the Harrisburg sale, Indiana bred. He was out from the Hanover farm. His name was Carousel Frame. Okay. Now my uncle. We share the same name. You looked it up and all this shit on Pops. Same name I share. His name is the same as me. So I named him after my uncle. Rocky got framed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that name came about. That's how that name came about. They know the history. We don't know my family's history, but it is what it is. And he was a nice horse, fast horse. 2-year-old, we couldn't get him. He was really, really fast, but he was hot all the time, racing hot, and terrible years as a 2-year-old. Jamie figured him out as a 3-year-old. He was awesome. Four straight sires series because there's legs.
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome, but he ended up having bad feet. After like the middle of like September, October that year, his feet were really bothering him. I think it's the surface of Hoosier Park.
Tracks get hard.
He was asphalt, whatever they put. He was good. And he, Tony made us 600-700, I believe. Frame made me 300, something like that, 290 something, I believe. And he was another fun horse. And Jamie was another really good person, a really good trainer, and I had a lot of fun with her. 2017, I'm really good friends with Jennifer since I was 8 years old. We liked each other since we were 8. She went her own way, and I went my own way. This is my girlfriend now. She went. She came back to me. We came back together, hooked up 2017. And she didn't believe all the horses. I said, yeah. This is a story she always tells me. I took her to Hoosier Park one day for a 3-hour ride. She goes, if you're taking me for 3 hours and you don't own the horses, I'm going to be pissed at you. I said, stop. I took her for 3 hours. The first horse she ever met was Rockin' Tony. And day one, she loved him. And it ended. And later on, 5-6 years, it ended up being her horse. He's retired. He's on a farm. And her first horse, I was done with Jamie, her first horse she bought. And I said, you got to come up with the money. You got to pay for it. I wanted to learn. You learn through your pocketbook. We bought this little filly called You'll Learn. Okay? She ends up winning 8 out of 9 races. And this Peony final, this little series final. Well, Jennifer starts screaming, oh, this is easy. Yeah, this is
That's
easy.
the worst thing in the world.
Right. That's the worst thing I could have done. She won 8 out of 9, right?
There's only one direction to go from there.
Right. And it ain't going up.
No.
So anyways, it ain't going up. It ain't going up. So we bought some horses with her, and I gave her some, and she loves horses. There's one more classic story I forgot to tell you when I was a Roger. This is one of my best. I was a Roger. Roger said, Rocco, there's this horse called National Hero. I hate half-mile racing, Michael. I hate have my horse on it. I just hate it. I just don't like half-mile racing. It's me. It is what it is. National Hero. I bought him off of Kurt Becker. I think he was one of the race announcers back in one of the fairs down in Illinois. I paid $17,000 for him. Roger said, Rock, let's try him at Maywood. He'll win by 10. He knows that horse is what he is. He's fast. We do the 1-0. Todd Warren driving him. First turn. Breaks, tears the suspensory.
Ugh.
This is 3 weeks before my birthday. My birthday's in July. I'm aggravated. I'm peed off. I don't want to swear. I'm messed up. I said, I don't want to do this. Anyways, to make a long story short, when I get to the classic story, John Roberts, driver back then in the day.
Right.
All right. And he goes, I got a horse for sale. Her name is TB Beach Girl. I said, what do you want for her? Because this was 3 days after my birthday. Birthday, July 26th. I bought her 3 days after my birthday. I said, yeah, okay. I bring him the money. And Roger said, okay, we'll try. She's Kentucky, Illinois, Kentucky. Okay? True story. Roger sends the horse to Ronnie Gerfine. Everybody knows Ronnie Gerfine. Mm-hmm. Ronnie Gerfine takes the horse about 2 weeks before the first leg. Mike LaChance drives him. We win the first leg. Ronnie said, Rock, this is okay. Back in 2011, this is when I bought TV Beach Girl from Johnny Roberts. I run second in the next leg, And Mike said, Rocco, she's okay. She'll be good in the final. I'm sorry, Ronnie Gerfine told me this. I don't believe him. Okay, I just bought this horse and you win no fine. $250,000 race. This was my first champion. We drew the 10 hole. We win. So we won the super final in Kentucky with TB Beach Girl in 2009, 9/11 of 11. And this is just stories in the horse business that you can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? These are stories that actually happened.
Right.
You know, some call it luck, but this is some of the stories that I've had, and that's what I want to share with some of these guys here. Then whatever. So we left off at Jamie. Then Jamie introduced me to one of the biggest, hardest guys, big heart, everything. This was 19 or 20, I forget. His name is Doug Overheiser. Tremendous person. Tremendous person. And not only was just big-hearted, awesome guy. And he met him through Jamie. And then I went back to Irv after Jamie for a little bit. I like to switch a little bit. I went back to Irv. So we started buying horses with Irv. But at the time, Dougie was with 5 or 6 different trainers. And he was feeling a little sour. I don't want to use the words. I don't want to bring it. But I said, Doug, why don't you just bring him to Irv? Irv trains all over the country. I told him to buy 10 or 20. Doug could bury me in money. Forget about it.
Right.
Anyways.
Quick question. Where is Overheiser from?
He's from Illinois.
Illinois. Okay.
He
sounded.
when
I
I
feel
met
like
him,
I've talked to him before. Go ahead.
When I met him, he lived in Illinois. He lives in Florida. He had a trucking company. He just retired. He lives in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
His wife is my girl. We all great. We go out when he was here. When we go to Florida, when I was at Irv, to go to Florida every spring, January, February, March, we go down there. My girl goes down and we fly. We just have dinners. Beautiful people. So this Doug, he's nuts. I told him, Doug makes the switch to Irv. I said, buy 10 or 20. I think he misunderstood me. He ended up buying 120, 110, all these years. I said, I told you 20, not 120. He's laughing his ass off. But he loves the horse business. And we became really good friends. We still are. I consider us good friends. I talk most of a lot. Now he's busy and I'm busy, but we talk a lot. And he had a lot of nice horses. He has a lot of nice horses in Kentucky. I can't afford the horses that they have. I just didn't. The most expensive horse that me and Doug ever bought was just the most expensive horse I've ever bought, which was the biggest mistake I've ever made. And Irv told us it was a 2-year-old in Irv's barn. His name was J.B. Graham. Me and Doug had a hard on for this horse. We wanted him. Irv kind of told us what he would think he would pay for the horse. Yeah, we know more than you. Don't worry about it. We'll be good. We ended up paying $275,000 for the horse. Fact. He couldn't beat my dog Frankie in a race at that time. Junk. And it lasted for me for about, 2 months. I didn't like him. So I said, take him. I don't want him. I don't hang on to horses. I don't hang on to horses. After 2 and 3 year olds, I learned to just, I got done. I'm overdone. After Jimmy passed away in 2017, I'm done with the overnights. I just didn't want the overnights. I wanted to buy babies. 2020, and I'm not a big horse owner, like I say. I buy 2, 3, 4 horses a year. That's too much for me. Then 2022 and 2023, I get stupid with Doug. 1 year I have 12 horses, 1 year I have 15 horses. That didn't end good. It never ends good. It never ends good. Took a beating, especially in 23. Spent a lot of money at the Indiana sale. I think just some guy interviewed me. He spent a lot of stupid money. And I usually was either half or 33% with Doug. And then where am I at with Doug? And now I moved on a little bit from Irv. I'm with Jody and Melissa Essick right now. Great people. I have a few horses with them. I have 2 fillies right now. Last year, was about July. My other little sister, very successful, senior vice president of Children's Hospital downtown, very, very successful, 48 years old. She passed away in November. It was a shit year last year, and I didn't want to buy no horses. I wasn't into the horses. I told Jody, just keep the 2 fillies I got. I didn't want to buy any horses. My mom was upset, and it was just a crappy year last year in my family, especially my other little sister passing away.
Oh.
I still have one more sister, so it was just, I didn't buy any horses. I still got 2 fillies. They're both in the same race Thursday night at at Hoosier Park. You might get a Lucpark Exacta, the 1 and the 6. I don't know, but Gina ran second 2 times in her first 2 starts, and we got a new baby. I did race her last year. Her name is Squeeze, and that's what's going on now. The last thing I want to go over with Mike, I want to go over Illinois racing, and I want to go over Tim Carey. So we're clear here about anything. What I say now, I told him to his face. Horsemen were there. Irv was there. He's a piece of shit. Complete piece of shit. What he's done to Illinois racing and Illinois people.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, in the car business, do you know how many good horsemen come to me for trucks through the years? Kyle Houston, Todd Warren, Ridge Warren, Travis Seekman, his wife, the vet, Greg Skelton. I don't want to talk about Greg Skelton, but he was a good customer of mine.
I know. I get
for
it.
a lot of trucks. I don't want to talk about their personal shit. This is about horse racing. A lot of Illinois bred people, Mike Arnold, Johnny Roberts' wife, a lot of Tony Alanya. So during COVID, Tony Alanya said, "Rock, I need this color truck and this color, this 3500. I need it. Nobody else has it in the U.S." I found it. We have it. I said, "Come and get it." He wrote the truck. Tony's wife, Tony Alanya's mom, Donna, 3 trucks for me. Illinois bred people are great. Gary Rath, another gentleman, 3 or 4 trucks from us. All he buys trucks. The perfect example. I know you heard of Tyler Sheehan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He's a driver in Kentucky and Virginia. Last Wednesday, he drove 7 hours because I had the truck that he exactly wanted. And he picked it up. I put it on Facebook. I put the picture on Facebook. That was his second truck he bought from me. I love Illinois bred guys. I love horsemen. If I can help him with a truck, help him with the numbers, they'll always be helped. So now we're gonna talk about Tim Carey. Like 4 years ago, my girl Jennifer, we raced Rocky, got framed at Hawthorne, just a cheap condition. Irv was a trainer, Antley was the driver. He ended up winning the race. So we won. She took her picture. She was ecstatic. That's her horse too. But they wouldn't give her a picture. They wouldn't give her. She said, "Rock, I can't get a picture." You went down Hawthorne from 2018 to now. Looks like Iraq, and I'm not exaggerating to you. Looks like Iraq, like when the bombings of Iraq. That's Hawthorne. Disgusting. So it was 3 super nights ago. Can't make it up. True story. I don't bet on my horses. Straight up, I don't bet my own horses. If I bet my horses, they're 1-5 every race because I fire. The guys from Plax, John 1417, Delray that passed away. All the guys know when we go to a racetrack, I meet them at the Meadowlands. I fire. I bet both hands. I don't care. So, I think it was like the perfect storm. It was like the perfect storm that night. It was I'm firing. I'm fucking firing in Mohawk. I'm stuck like 11, 12 G's. I'm out of bullets almost. I said, "Fuck this, I ain't betting." Oh, wait a minute. This is the Tim Terry shit. I said, "Have some chicken." I says, "This fucking chicken's from Walmart." He presented at Super Night this fucking piece of shit. Got cookies that were old enough to fucking vote. Food I wouldn't give my dog. Okay? This is your Super Night? I'm stuck. I told one of my friends, Jimmy, I said, this will probably be my last night at Hawthorne because it's going to happen. So I pull up next to him. I said, Mr. Carey, you got a minute? Yeah. He walks around like he's fucking Harvard University fucking sophomore. The fucking pants, the jacket, the fucking bullshit. He said, yeah, you got a minute? Straight up, exact words. How the fuck, exact words I told him. How the fuck did you become such a fucking embarrassment? You ruined, Michael, you can ask any horseman, anybody in Illinois.
I've heard the stories.
What?
I've heard the stories.
I don't bullshit. I'm 5 foot. Listen to me. I'm not short. So all of you call me short. On a good day, I'm 5'7", 5'8". On a bad day, I'm 5'6". It is what it is. Anyways, Mike told this motherfucker, I said, you ruined, how many lives have you ruined? You ruined good people's lives. This is super night. This is how you're best of the best. You got chicken from fucking Walmart, cookies that are crap, food that's like disgusting, legitimately disgusting. And I know about food. My family has 5 restaurants. My cousins have 5 restaurants. And my other cousin has 2 restaurants. So we're either in the car business or the restaurant business. So I know about food.
Typical Guinea.
Right. Typical whatever.
Restaurants
I use Italian. I use Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, so I got on and on and on. I said, you ruined racing. His mother's looking. I'm pointing at him because he's about 5'6" too. So we're about to say hi. And I'm stuck money. I'm in one of my moods. I said, you ruined racing. I went on and on and on. About 10 minutes. He goes, well, exact words he told me. Well, go fuck yourself. Go race in Indiana. I said, I do race in Indiana. I love Indiana racing. They treat the horsemen ridiculously phenomenal. They just do. Rick Moore, he retired. I love Rick Moore. He was the general manager of the track. I love Rick Moore. He treated me. They treat everybody great at Hoosier Park.
That's not just the horsemen.
Steakhouses.
Treat your customers.
No, everybody.
The customers too.
It's top notch. I can't say nothing bad about Hoosier Park. Even though it's a 3-hour drive from my house, we go there, try to make it 4 or 5 times a year during racing season. Mm-hmm. And in the wintertime, we'll go see. Okay, I'll get that in a second. We go see some of our retired horses that I have in an Indiana farm. So about 20 minutes after I berate the fuck out of that little scumbag, he gets 2 big guys. Rock, you got to leave the track. Carey wants you out. And now they're walking me out. I walk past Carey, and he screams, "Hey, don't fucking come back!" I said, "Go fuck yourself." This was in front of his mom, which I don't care. At that point, I don't care. You kick me out of the track. You know, the guys that I knew were shaking their heads. Like I told you, it was the perfect storm. What he does right now with these canceled checks and these bounce checks, that these horsemen are starving.
That's so fucked up.
My point to you is, if I was a horseman, they all, I don't want to get into numbers. They all earn big money. Anthony, big money. Dog, big money. They all, if they owed me money like that, they bounce checks, I told them, why don't you guys get lawyers? Get lawyers. Oh, the Illinois horsemen should get lawyers. If he knew, Michael, if somebody don't have the money in the bank and you write a check, me write a bad check, what's going to happen?
They come pick you up.
That's exactly what the fuck's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear stories. Not the IHH guys, the IHHA guys, and the IRB. No, money will come. September, the money ain't coming. It's almost going into May. That money ain't coming. It ain't coming. It'll come. You might get a penny on the dollar. It's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. He's just a bad human being. But what they did to that track, his father was great. Carey's father was great. My father used to take me to Sportsman's in Hawthorne when I was a kid. And we go on doubleheader Saturdays. This was when I was a sophomore, junior in high school. It was great times. But anyways,
let me ask you one question. But let me ask you one question, and we'll end it with this. Like I said,
go ahead.
What people don't understand, like we're born, like that came into the business like after 2000, whatever, 2010. Owners like you, okay? There were thousands and thousands of you, the lifeblood of harness racing. and you're being pushed out, right? Now, like you said, and I think you mentioned it to me that, you love harness racing, but you're sour on it now, right?
Well, I'm sour on it for a few things. I don't want to really get particular in. This is 2026.
Mm-hmm.
What harness don't understand is nobody's going to wait around 25 minutes for a race. This isn't 2000 and this isn't 1987, 1979, 1988, whatever year you want to pick out. There's other things to do to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Kids don't go to the track, Michael. They just don't.
I've said it all along. There's nobody under 40 in a grandstand unless they're, you know what I mean?
Michael, I'll be 60. I'll be 64 in July, and it's sour now. I started having some. I have a couple of brood mares. I have 4 brood mares, and last year I started the brood mare business in Indiana breds with a really good Amish family, and they're the one. I just have 3 on the ground. One little colt just dropped 3 weeks ago. I have another little filly. Jennifer's first horse. We kept her as a brood mare. She's dropping in. She's dropping a JK end of an arrow, and there's another JK end of an arrow on the ground. She'll be at the sale, and I got a couple of mares that I enjoy that more. At least watch them grow.
Mm-hmm.
But if this doesn't change with the 40 minutes, I understand everybody wants their handle. This 20 minutes, 15-minute drag time. They can tell you what they want, but the young guys ain't coming. The young kids ain't coming.
Nope.
The 17, 18-year-olds, like when we were 18, 17-year-olds, I couldn't wait to go to the
track.
With my dad.
What are you doing? Let's go to the track.
Right. He told me, here's my dad. Here's 100. I'll see you. I'll come and get you. We always hung out like my high school buddies at a certain spot at Sportsman's, and then we go out to eat every Saturday night. This was me and my dad. That was the greatest times I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what. Now you don't see father and sons at the track. You don't, Mike. You really don't.
No.
You don't see them. Them days are gone. They can bullshit you, bullshit me, whatever they want. Them days are gone, and they ain't coming back. I enjoy watching thoroughbreds. I enjoy watching thoroughbreds on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon. And I call Paul all the time, and and I fire, and it is what it is. When I win, when I lose, I lose.
That's your thing. Who cares?
It is what it is. All right, fuck it. Who cares?
It's not that's what you do. It's nobody's business. Everybody's got a fucking opinion of everybody else.
Right.
God bless you.
I enjoy my life. My health. I have a lot of serious shit with my intestines and my stomach. I've had 4 stomach surgeries, and 3 years ago I had a heart attack. I lost like 40 pounds. I don't eat. People don't even reckon. I lost I don't eat anything that we all like. I'm down to chicken, fish, some vegetables. I don't eat a lot, and I just want to live as long as I can. And
enjoy it.
I want to talk a little bit about Plops before we let this go.
Go ahead.
Plops, I've met in life. I met so many nice people from Plops that I personally met out east when we beat up out east. Pigland is tremendous. Tremendous person.
I know.
John 14:7. John 14:17. Every time I went into Pocono and meet Joe Delray that passed away, he would come. Jersey at the Meadowlands. One night we're betting at the Meadowlands, me, him, and Joe. I think I got him for like 100,000 in like a year, like 5 races. I just fired him. It was one of my nights. I killed him. You can verify it with John. And I fire when I hit big. But a lot of nice people in Plops, and there's a lot of jerk offs in Plops.
Mm-hmm.
They just, But anyways, I'm glad you had me on. These are some fun stories I shared. Again, I am not a big horse owner. I never claimed that I was. I just have fun with it. I just have fun with horses.
But guys like you are a very valuable horse owner. And that's what the game is losing. The foundation, Nobody realizes that.
Michael, thank you for having me. I appreciate this.
All right, man.
I had a good time. I hope the boys and whoever was listening had a good time. Sorry about the swearing. It is what it is.
Don't worry about it,
talk
dude.
like
You
that.
kidding me?
Great job, Rocky.
Oh,
You guys.
it
You guys
lives.
have a great night.
You too, bud.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I said.
Thank you, Michael. Be good.
You got
Bye-bye.
it. Thanks.
All right.
All right. I heard you're off mute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his boys just pulled the tape off my mouth.
You could have kept it there a little longer, but we'll let you out of
A little
the
longer.
holding
A little
cell.
longer.
But that's what I meant before when I told you. I said let the man talk because this is what we need. Reality, a real story. Here's one guy, and there's so many others out there. You know what I mean? To say here's what I went through. Here's my good times, my bad times, what I deal with, trainers, and his was pretty down the middle. But what's missing from the game are these kind of owners who spent money. It doesn't matter how much how many horses they owned, how much they spent, but there were a lot of these guys. When you'd go to the track, they were everywhere. They're gone. Now like look at most of the tracks, the same trainers for the same owners. Now they're racing against themselves with these entries, like to try to fill races at Meadowlands, or the other side of the coin, Yonkers, which is in complete control of every penny of that 60 million, just allowing their friends to race, right?
Yep.
This is the bottom line. We'll talk a little bit, like some of the fools on Horse Plop that are saying the industry is thriving while it loses 10% handle every year. It loses gamblers. It loses owners. But yeah, the big guys get richer and richer and richer, because I compared it to pillaging the village as it's burning, while everyone's escaping, they're stealing the artwork and the silverware and the gold. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Hey, Rocco's a good speaker, man. He must be a great fucking car salesman. Jesus Christ.
Like I
He went
said, I
45
was kidding
minutes without taking a fucking breath.
That's again what I'm used. Typical Guinea, good talker, likes food.
Careful.
And he's got someone in the family that owns a restaurant. It's just like it's standard issue. That's why.
Yeah, put your shades down, bro.
Huh?
By the way, that layout in Dreamland's beautiful. I like that whole.
This is the part of the living room of the little house. This is the 3-bedroom ranch. I'm not going to go into anything about Dreamland other than they can all go fuck themselves. There, I said it. Here I am again.
It's like Godfather 2 Circa.
Yeah, I'm going to do what I got to do here for this person. And, I don't give a fuck. This is again, like, talking to Rocky, right? It's reality.
Yeah.
There's real people. Okay. All the cowards can talk behind a screen name. Let's talk about Bongiorno for a minute, right? And we've talked, but one guy, Brown Jug, I think it was, and this is what I mean. We don't have a name like, Bob or, John, J, whatever. No, we got screen names. It's fucking embarrassing to me. It's pathetic that adults are doing this. They've got a lot to say when they can hide. So he says to me, so what Mike is saying, so am I to assume that Mike is going to believe? No, Mike gave this guy the opportunity to speak for himself. What we think is our business. But in this case, people accusing him of killing that horse, vandalism. The fucking horse raced the same day that the 3-year-old that actually died raced, that he turned that horse in to the NJRC. The report had the horse was already sent off for a necropsy. And they're saying that 2 days ago when vandalism scratched, 3 days ago, what the frick it is, that's the horse. I'm like, are you people stupid? So he dropped a dead horse in? One died. The horse that's died on a week ago Saturday. So he dropped the dead horse in on Monday or Tuesday, whenever they draw for Saturday at the Meadowlands now. Not to mention the fact that they're so far off, it's ridiculous. They're saying that he beat the horse down the lane training. The horse was acting up. He took him back in the stall to stall train him 3 different trips. Well, all these stories, not one of them has any firsthand. They did not witness it. One of them on Horse Plop, I messaged and I said, so do you have anything solid? This was before I called Joe. Was it? It was right before I called him, or I messaged him. I'm sorry. I said, so do you have anything solid? I'm like, were you there? No, I don't have anything solid. And I'm not even stable at the farm. So what, how can you testify? You know what I mean? And then when I heard more and about
They
what,
think the worst, it's a rabid lynch mob at Plop. But
well,
that's
it's
what
a,
makes
it's,
it Plop, you know.
it's a coward lynch mob. It's like the lynch mob that shows up wearing masks or hoods, you know, they'll never expose themselves. And again,
I think they were really appreciative that you went out there and got Joe to show up on the call. That was great.
it doesn't
Now they want
matter.
his dad to come on.
Joe even said it to me when I said, it doesn't matter what I think of you. Go. So he says, so what do you, I said, don't take that wrong. My opinion means nothing but I can't stand lies. I've heard too much about everyone else, me included. All right. And now I'm going to turn the corner. I don't care what people, who they like and don't like, because I challenge any of them, and it hasn't happened. And I've been touching base with him through the week. I says, anybody come to you? Not a soul has said a word to him at any racetrack or at the farm, nowhere. That shows you what these people are made of. It's out of pure hatred, like it is for me. Him, he's done. He has won races. He has made money. They're going to judge him by his family. You see how they talk about family, okay? It's easy to say what you want when there's no fear of repercussion because you're anonymous. You're a fucking coward hiding. But we also have seen lately what happens when we call them out and we find out who they are. They fucking run, right? You there?
Yep.
But my point is, again, let's just stick to Bongiorno. So far, there is no evidence that he did anything wrong to that colt. I saw the video. I'm not going to post it because that video also went to where it needs to go. See, because nobody's made any formal complaint. How can you say the NJRC has to get involved? Okay, did you go to the NJRC and say, hey, I was there and I saw him do this? Nope, nobody. He's done everything he's supposed to.
They don't like the fact that they say his sister doesn't know much about training horses, that she had, quite a fucking prolific.
Let me tell you something. And again, I am not advocating or vouching for them, but his sister, when I was one of them, okay? I was also the person, I told Joe the other day, I said, you realize, you do know I'm the one that initially posted the bankruptcy from his dad. He says, no, I remember. I said, nothing personal. I said, but there were people affected. People came to me. One of them supplied me with all the bankruptcy records and the list of people, the debtors, right? I said, so that was reality. It affected people in the game. As for his sister, yes, I said the same thing. And then she came on my group page. That was 2 years ago when it was the Goral band list thing happened. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then she says, no, I don't train the horses. I have people that train the horses. I do that. And that was her response. And that's it. And if people have, and this is what I keep saying, if you have a problem with that, I posted it on Horse Plop the other day, because on my group page, we don't have this nonsense because there's real people there. Okay. Only on coward.com do we have that. But I said, if you've got a real issue, mouth, that you're good at typing this shit, march your ass up to Jason Settlemore, complain directly to him and say, I want to know why Mr. Goral and Bryce Cody allow these people to race here. Now go do it. You know how many of those people are going to do that, dude? None.
Yeah.
Zero. And that's going to be the end of it. But anybody who's out there like us or me, they'll spin it back on me. Oh, he had him on it. He let him talk, so he must be in cahoots with him. You know what I mean? No. I want the fucking truth. That's all. The truth. And do I got a vendetta? Everybody's got to have a vendetta. It's easy again to have vendettas when you are hiding. I have nothing personal against any of these guys. He said, he brought up, he says something about, he says, I know you don't like Per Engblom. I said, I have no problem with Per Engblom. Zero, nothing. But what I do have a problem is endless appeals, a track owner saying in September on the Pollock report that if he does not have that decision reversed by December 31st, he can't race at my tracks. January 2nd, he's racing there, and then he's trying to get the NJRC through a personal phone call, advocating for a trainer, which I've never heard of a track owner doing this before, asking if they'll reduce the 380 days to 90 days. That I have a problem with. That's bullshit, and the guy is there just crushing everybody else. So you lied to the little guys.
All in front of your eyes, all this shit, the conflicts of interest, man, that's fucked up
right.
shit.
That's wrong. To me, that's wrong. And he's still racing, and there's no end in sight for whether this, this appeal or whether they're going to enforce 380 days, 80 days, 90 days, anything. In the meantime, he's just buying horses up, taking new owners, which I'm sure if he does end up doing his days, they're just going to shift everything over to the brother. But they talk about transparency and integrity. They don't have any transparency or integrity. What Mr. Gural did that when he let him race, that's zero integrity in that case. Whatever else he's done to try to stop the shit, yeah, but this time you didn't. And it affects people. He's got 2 horses in the open, right? They finished 1-2. Is that fair? I don't know.
I'm just a lowly gambler. What can I tell you?
Again.
I mean, I actually had a good day yesterday. I have to study races like the fixes in. That's how I have to actually look at a race to try to win it. I have to fucking think about how they're going to strategize and who's one they're going to pick that no one's going to be betting.
Well, that's what just acknowledging that normal people that gamble aren't going to risk their money on something like this. And that's why you're seeing what's it down since compared to last year right now, a little over 6%, right? The wagering in harness racing. It's right on the US. We put it up. Last year, it was down 14%. Year before that, it was down a little under 14%. It's been averaging down every year a 12 to 15% loss compared to the year before. And they want more money. What kind of business can survive that way? Unless, like harness racing that lives off welfare, it's subsidized by casinos, racinos, tax breaks, agricultural incentive, all this shit. Like this idiot talking about Oak Grove, they're getting $17,000 a race. Where's the money coming from? Most of it comes from the state through the historical harness racing machines or whatever the hell they call it over there. But the bottom line is it's not coming from the racing. It's coming from state-generated revenue. 84% of the state of New York's purse structure comes from VLTs. And they're all giving themselves high fives. But that's because the top 5% of the guys making all the money. Look around here. In this area, you know how many friggin' horse farms are for sale? They just put another one up for sale. You saw it on Horse Plop. The place they're dispersing all their mares in one massive dispersal, right?
Yeah. And when I hear the stories of these farms burning down, I hate to think worst possible scenarios like insurance schemes, but
and that's Hanover
that goes on in this thing here.
I don't think
I hate to think about it.
I
hate to think about it, but you know what? You can't, but look, bro, look what they're fucking doing. Every day it's a fucking scam right in front of our eyes.
Well,
what makes you think they don't cross the line? They drug these fucking horses up, but what they're doing here, they don't care about their well-being. I mean, what line do they think that they're actually living creatures? They're just ATMs.
Why wouldn't normal people who watch this and see it for what it is be cynical about the industry? If you live in reality and you're watching what's happened, you're going to say they're cheating, they're stealing, they don't. How does an industry? Why do people? If the public ever fully understood this, right, and said, wait a minute, so we're losing municipal services, police are less police. Police are not getting paid enough. Firefighters, nurses, doctors, teachers, veterans, right? All starving, right? Harness racing's doing great because we're just handing them hundreds of millions of dollars to continue to race, abuse horses, drug horses, and take money that they don't earn. In an industry that loses, like Jeff Gorell said, every time I turn on the lights, I lose money. And that's the truth at every racetrack.
Pigland reported, and he'll join another podcast. I called it a Pigcast, and he says he wants to shout out that you're doing great work, and Dougie too. He says he respects your advocacy, and it's been pretty quiet. That's a big deal at Clock. No one's fucking talking. That must have mean they appreciate it, respected it.
They contribute nothing to. They contribute nothing to humanity. And what I mean that is they are typing pixels onto a screen. None of it means anything to anybody in the fucking real world. All the nonsense, we get involved with it, the attacks on whatever. What has it accomplished? You show me anything that any of those clowns, especially the real ones that are super obsessed with individuals. I'm not going to go into it, but tell me, what has it accomplished? Nothing. They all said, look at the ones, Petrelli this, Petrelli that, thrown out of drink. Where am I right now?
Dead silence.
Yeah.
Dead silence.
The thing is, the difference between them and I is I know when to keep my mouth shut. I don't show my down cards. They are so fucking desperate, they throw the whole deck at you and nothing sticks. And then, like children, they get angry at you because you may engage with me. They get angry at another guy. Oh, you agree with Petrelli?
Oh, fuck that.
That's fucking kids in a playground.
They don't know you. They don't really know you. It's just
I don't give a fuck if they know me. They don't need to know me.
They find one fucking horrible thing in someone's existence, and then they just magnify it and just blow it out of proportion for every fucking day of your life.
I knew,
and that's what they do. It's sickness.
I knew we reached a level of fucking insanity that I've never seen before anywhere when I had a guy staring at my goddamn jeans.
Go over.
How do you even respond to that?
Bomb the knob.
He's wearing faded black jeans. I don't even know how to. I don't know what to say. Could you imagine that this guy does he go home and tell his wife and kids this is what he does?
You should show him some of those posts he puts up there.
That's what I'm saying. Scary thing is, if I wanted to, I could make sure that they'd find out. But you know something? That's not the way I roll. I'm not going to get involved in people's personal lives. Like the other guy, I know everything.
Mike knows a lot of who you guys
I know
are.
everything.
He knows it.
I know everything. Like I said,
knows it.
What did I say to you this? I know everything. I'll find out everything right down to the direction they wipe the goddamn ass. All right. And I do know it. And that's all I need is because, yeah, I know everything, but I'm not going to be like them and talk about their families, their kids, and naming names and just what they can try to get under your skin with that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not a scumbag like that. And like I say it all the time, 40 Park Place, Goshen, New York. Where am I right now?
Dreamland.
Right. Okay. You want to meet at Marge's down the corner? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to meet me? Meet me at the end of the driveway? Where are you? Where are all of you? Take your shot. Let's do it. Stop fucking typing about it and just do it. Do it. I fucking dare you to
those
do
days
it, and then
are coming to an end if they're not already over, bro. I think it's over with all that bullshit.
yeah, and I know
I
exactly.
think they understand that they better start fucking respecting you if they want to. If they want to see, you know, if they want an interview or they want, you know, to people to come on.
Let me tell
and,
you.
No,
No,
you know,
the only
say their piece.
no. The only people I want to talk to are real people. All right, I don't want to talk to some friggin'.
Well, they don't want to talk.
Nobody.
Those guys are not going to talk.
See, you put a little bit. You give these people a little bit too much fucking weight. That you like. You allow. You think that. No, I shouldn't have to say it this way, but like horse plot matters. No, it doesn't. The people that actually engage with me on my Facebook page, those are real people talking from the heart. They may argue with me, Mike, but it's on a level of at least some semblance of maturity and talking to each other and, you know, understanding. Not a bunch of cowards. I don't give a shit about it. Like I said, they're the guys that listen to the nonsense. Like when they said they came to this farm, I know who that was. I knew who it was. It's the same guy, and I'm not going to name his name, that came here and thought that he was going to somehow manipulate himself into this farm and went around here and actually did some damage to the place. And if he's listening, he knows who I'm talking about. And what they didn't understand was I was always behind the scenes protecting the owner of this farm. And that's the truth. That's why I'm here. Okay? Nobody's going to fuck with this place. What happens next? People will find out. I don't have to. And that's another thing. Like, I got to keep justifying reporting to these people. When are you going to go this? When are you going to do? Who the fuck are you? When are you going to tell us what your real fucking name is? You fucking coward. I mean, are you kidding me? These are the people of harness racing. So, and what is it?
And they don't believe that. You know, we met each other on the forum, and we do talk. You know, they think it's not real. They think we like, you know, this is all like we met and then we went on the forum. No, we actually met on the forum, and we decided to take a shot and see if we could.
I have no problem talking to real people, and I would love one of those any of those cowards. Again, specifically, you know some of the names. Here's my number. Call me. I'll talk to you. They're never going to do that. Never. Because the last thing that these people want me to find out is who they are. Because what am I good at doing? I will find out everything about you. Everything. They've obviously got something to hide because they do not want me knowing. Why do you think they get so angry? Where's our other friend that Steve Jones named a cult after, and now he's stuck with that name?
Oh,
right? I know the connections. Yeah, that connection lands squarely in Montgomery, New York, and I caught him hook, line, and sinker. It was the greatest. The greatest caper ever. What a stupid son of a bitch.
You know, Rocky mentioned that he knew your brother before he knew you. Did you pick up? He didn't go into detail. He got sidetracked onto something else.
You're so far behind. Rocky and I talked about this 2 years ago, and what he heard of me, whatever, it didn't matter. Like, did you hear where he said we got off on the wrong foot? Okay. Yeah. He met my brother. I don't care. You know, you don't know me. He didn't know me then. And then, you know, cooler heads prevailed, and we realized, you know, we put it this way: if you put us in the same room or at the racetrack, we'd have a blast and laugh and have fun. I'm not what people. There's the painting of me that people put out there because they are pissed off that when I got thrown out of Goshen Historic Track for complaining about ice. And I was just there getting my health back together, trying to get back on my feet. And then they thought that they're going to make an example of me. They created a fucking monster. And they haven't been able to kill me. I'm a guy from within the game that knows how the game works, and I'm able to take that with other information and I'm a very effective, let's say, scumbag killer. Look at what's been done. What's it done to me?
I think they want to be killed. I think they want to be subconsciously. They just keep coming at you, so you fuck them up.
Just all these threats. Even the old prick with the stage 4 cancer. I can do this. I can do that. I got friends up there. They'll do. Let's go. Just do it. Stop talking about it and do it.
What happened to that guy? What's going on with him?
Maybe we need to ask Joseph Sackett G. Where's he been? Oh wait, we know where he's been. Trying to collect $50,000 for the $10,000 a week in taxi cabs and food, apparently, that it costs in the Bahamas. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And they say
nothing costs $50,000 in the Bahamas, that's for sure.
Yeah, and we're not making this up. They said it. It's there. It's on fucking YouTube. Oh, it costs $10,000. You don't understand. It's all cash down here. It's $10,000 a week between the taxis and the food. What? And what else? The casino and the massages? Unbelievable. And if that's what he's doing, who cares? But we'll hit that for a second. But don't come around and telling the story and selling the book and selling the miniseries and selling the movie about the millions and millions of dollars that you made while you cheated and fixed races for the mob, and now you need cash. But I'm a scumbag.
Well, he does it through name recognition. I was listening to one of those about Nicky Barnes, and that's basically what it is. Like, he's always the center of some world there.
Oh, apparently he didn't know that he didn't remember to save any money that he illicitly earned through race fixing. And there's people defending the guy who is a perfect example of why harness racing, why wouldn't gamblers want to gamble? Well, here's a guy bragging about how they fix races. Does that?
Well, he operated at a level where you get murdered if you don't pay. I mean, basically, they make an example of you. He was into the hundreds of
No. You bet. Go read his book. Find where he says that when they came to him, he told them, I told them, I call the shots here. I call the number. Oh, you're gonna pay? You want to pay me $200?
Oh, well, that story changed a bunch of fucking times.
Yeah. No, he said.
Please,
they wanted to give me $200. No, I said 1,000. Oh, you said no. Wait, I got to do it. I said 1,000. Like he's auditioning for The Godfather 4. These are the people that hurt the business. Let me rephrase that. I prefer to call it the sport, because like Rocco said, Rocky, it's not a business. It's a risk and it's a hobby. And if you can afford to do it, great. If you can't afford to take the loss, don't do it. It's that simple. And I used to say that all the time with like new owners should be told, okay, you want to get in, fine, but how much you want to invest? $20,000. Are you willing to lose that money immediately? Because that's what can happen. That's the reality, especially not only the way the game is, but you're dealing with livestock. You walk them out of a stall, you snap a sesamoid. Anything can happen.
He got fucked this week pretty good. The racing secretary put two of his in a Hoosier in the same race.
I just said that. You race against yourself.
Yep.
Happens all the time now that you see, because they can't they're having trouble filling races. So you're immediately saying, I can, out of my 2 horses, only one can win. And if you do dead heat, you're still not going to get, you don't get 2 50%. You get 50% and 25% divided between the 2 of them. But, that's just, again, that's because the game is shrinking. in front of us. And I keep saying evaporating. It is literally evaporating. Less babies. These idiots in New York are bragging about, ship semen. Well, that's because you're admitting that your stakes program and breeding program cannot stand on its own. People don't want to do business here. So you've had to, what do they say? Move the goalposts, erase the borders so you can survive. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, Kentucky is doing great for the horseman. Kentucky's not doing great for the gambler. It's not doing great as an industry that can stand on its own. It's all money being shoveled in from outside sources. 1.1.
You want to give out your number and see if anyone will call in? I imagine no one's going to call in, but we could throw it out there. See if anyone wants to call in.
I've put it out there. I put it out there 1,000 times. 845-703-0504. If you want to talk, whatever, but we're not going to play games. If I answer and you start talking like some, like these, they do, calling in and bombing some radio show, I'm just going to hang up on you. Not going to play games. I expect that to happen, but I think doing it this way is the way to do it anyway. What time is it? It's already 20 after 9 anyway.
Yeah, we went almost 90.
That's not 90 minutes, ding dong.
Just under.
60 minutes is an hour, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, no, it's 9:22. It's just 8 minutes shy of.
I think the right way to do it is
90 minutes.
What I don't mind doing, and like I said, I want to start showing. I want to talk like I used to as a horseman. I'm not an enemy of the horseman. And if you did something stupid, that doesn't mean that I immediately want to see you hung or I have a personal issue with you. If you do something, I brought up the other day when Jason Bartlett got his last 7 days where it was for hitting under the shaft. Well, it turns out he caught a stifle. It should never happen. You're too damn good at what you do to allow that to happen. That's one of the most abusive things you can do to a horse is cut their stifle. Okay? That means you're rifling down around underneath the shaft. There's no reason for it. Especially when you've won 12,000 races, 13, whatever he's up to now. He had $16 million in earnings.
Well, he started when he was like 15 years old, no?
Yeah, and then you're driving like the horse is a 2-claimer at Hinsdale or at Lewiston or wherever he came from. No, be a goddamn professional in every race. It should never happen. That's it.
He was the Brett Beckwith back then that this kid is now. This poor kid who's in the hospital. Yeah.
What?
Joey B. No, he was like, when he come out, he was hot as a firecracker.
Yeah, and he actually said to me the other day, when was it? Sunday, when I was talking to him after that, he gave me the update and he talked to his mom. He says, because he knows him really well, same kind of circuit, because Joey cut his teeth at Saratoga, and he worked for Brett's dad, and he even said a lot of people gave him shit for that. Everybody works for somebody bad, if you want to call it that, or has worked for someone that's done something. Everyone that look at who's racing now. Everyone, Nick DeVita, this, that. He's got grooms working for him. Does that make them dirtbags? No, they just want a job. They want to get paid. They want to do what they want to work and they want to get paid. This guy, everybody, runs their mouth about Burke. Obviously, Burke hires a lot of people. So are all those grooms guilty or whatever because they work for this guy or they work for that guy? That's how fucked up this business is, that you'll judge somebody by who they work for. They'll judge somebody by who they're related to. They'll judge somebody by who they stood next to in the fucking men's room taking a piss. I mean, it's pathetic. I actually get genuinely angry for the game. and especially for the horses and a lot of people. I can't walk in a racetrack right now. And I've never been banned. I've never had a license denied or anything, but you think I'm going to be welcome? Only place that I can actually go is the Meadowlands, that I know I can just go. And then I always ask everybody what I do. What am I guilty of? Being honest and realistic. That's all I've done.
Well, you can't get Corral on, like you said. The Corral, Taylor, all these guys are involved in lawsuits. So
I already explained that to you 20 times. There's reasons for, obvious reasons for that. Like I sent an invitation to Howard. I mailed it to him. So you want to come on? I know he can't come on. Maybe he'd want to come on. Obviously, Jeff Corral can't come on. All right. I've been the one, I've already been pulled in to have to hand over everything that's available to the public anyway. But still, they're in litigation. Jeff could never come on here. Jason could never come on here. He's an employee of his. Would I like to have guys like that on? I would love to have Jeff on here.
If you're going to do this and continue it on, you got to only have heavyweights on. That's the best kind of person to go up against you. You need a heavyweight, and you'll know how to deal with that. That's your arena. This is all. Rocco is a big deal. Okay.
No. You're wrong. You're wrong about that. It's not. I don't want. You know who I'd like to have on? The groom that's at the barn at 6 o'clock in the morning, gets done 1 o'clock, has time enough to eat something, get cleaned up, and then hop in a truck and trailer and go racing. That's who I want. The people that really have invested their lives into this industry, whether the reality is, like I said, of it not being, but right now there are people who rely on it and actually do love the game, and more so love the horses and do right by the horses. That's who I want on here. Or the trainer that's the same way. Or like Rocky, that kind of guy, a guy that really loves the game. All right? Having the big guys on, you know who does that? Wendy Ross goes around from big barn to big barn and never even acknowledges the little guy. Oh, the training report. We're going to go to Burke's. We're going to go to this guy. We're going to go to Chris Ryder. What about the little guy?
No, those would be soft interviews. You're not a soft interviewer.
What you don't understand is what I do is to stand up for the little people that are getting screwed. You just got this wrong. I don't even know where you get the. You think I want to hear about the big guys? I couldn't care less.
No, but I think you're good at getting information from people.
You know who I would like to have on here?
You're a great interrogator.
Yeah, but you know who I'd like to have on here and ask him the truth? Because he did an interview about it. Per Engblom. I'd like to ask him, dude, you know what? I hear a lot of good and I hear a lot of bad, but anyone else, he says that he's the first to say that, the sport needs to be cleaned up. Well, he's sitting on 3 different drugs that he got busted for and still hasn't done his time. Whether he's going to do it or not, it was, it was an outside source or this or that and whatever. But, this is good for the game.
They were all lawyered up. That's the problem.
Well, he took it outside the game. He's taking it into, state municipal. I think it's Superior Court, New Jersey. And that's why he's racing right now.
Hey,
basically,
Rocky said thank you. He sent the text over. He says he hopes everyone enjoyed.
It's nice to hear the regular guys. You know who I'd like to have on when he's healthy enough? Brett Beckwith. Because I don't know if I said it to you. I actually said it to Bongiorno the other day when we were talking about him. I said, you know what won me over with that kid? I always heard good about. Put it this way, I never heard bad about him. And I watch the way he drives. I like the way he drives. And people, every friggin' driver is going to do something dumb. All right. That's just the way it is. You drive long enough, something's going to happen. You're going to do something dumb. You're going to hit, who knows? It just happens. It's part of the game. You drive enough, it's going to happen. But when he got his Ushua Award, Rising Star, I think it was, and he mentioned his grandfather and he choked up and started to cry, he won me over. Because then I know he means it. That's what won me over with that kid. And he presents himself well. He conducts himself well. You know, he's something right now that's good for the sport. And then what do people immediately say about him? Oh, he's driving for juice barns and his dad. And see, it never stops.
Mike, if the kid came to you right now and asked you, like, as a mentor, you know, as a life plan, where he's at now with everything that's happened, what would you tell him? Like, what kind of direction would you give him for a future?
Who?
Brett Betwood.
Well, anyone right now, I don't see personally, knowing the things I've learned from the inside, the things that are going on in state capitals, the reality, the investigations that are going on that nobody's talking about, like in New York State. New York State right now has an investigation going on. They don't have a state investigator yet, meaning for New York State Gaming, but that doesn't mean that there's not an investigation going on in Albany about New York State Gaming, right? And others. People don't know about the two out of competition tests that I found out about that New York State Gaming conducted of two trainers in New Jersey. But meanwhile, they can't even watch over their own store here in New York, right? You got one of their presiding judges at the time who was calling me, asking me to go easy on his very good friend, Howard Taylor. Remember?
Yep.
You know, how does this happen? And he's still got a job. But my point is, you know, if that kid existed,
24-hour news cycle, they call that.
Kid, could you let me finish? If Brett Beckwith existed, let's say in the 70s, coming up through the game the way he is now, the way the industry was, this kid's going to just explode. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's going to win stakes, you know, but we don't know where this game's going to be in 10 years. You know, people say, where do you see harness racing or whatever? The topics even, they bring it up. Sometimes there's actually by accident a legitimate question brought up, like, okay, use your brain. Where do you really believe harness racing is going to be in 10 years? Well, it don't look good. Let's just be real. It doesn't look good. So kid like him, make as much money as you can until it runs out, dude. You mentioned things about, you know, get his schooling or whatever, you know, that's up to him and his family. He's an adult now. You know what I mean? And he's been, you know, you don't understand. You weren't around it. These kids were born into the game. They were in strollers and playpens in the barns. You know what I mean? Okay. I've seen it, you know, through when I was in, and that's it. They come up through the game. They learn what their parents.
I have seen it. I've been part of it. But the people who've been educated always wanted their kids to go in another direction, not the same one that they had. They're not educated in this industry. You know, I mean, that's something.
But that's something for the families that you know what you can say that about a lot of things. Okay, cultures, whatever. But this is what they do. This kid just happens to be good at it, and there's some others that are doing okay, but there's nowhere near a new generation coming up like there always used to be. A genuine generation that came up to fill every empty spot. It gets small because even the industry is getting smaller and smaller. But to say to a kid like that, oh, you know, I saw you do it. Let him do what he does. If he's doing well, don't stop until, you know.
Well, he stopped.
And if he's smart,
Unfortunately.
and you got to understand, there's been a lot of guys that have made money in the game that were very, they were shrewd with their money, invested outside the game, and have done well, slid away from it and continued that into something else, rolling their money into, something profitable.
You
See,
name
to
it, names.
me, that's where I say it's easy for everyone else to judge and suggest to some other people what to do. Let them live their lives. And I think everybody, just because they don't talk about it, everybody in harness racing sees the writing on the wall. They may not say it. They might not even, if they do talk, they may not agree with you, but they know it. Because there's no dispute.
Well, I think you've taken it really far because you're showing that you're not judging anyone. Even that, if someone comes to you, you just say, "Hey, go with what you're good at," and like you said, make as much money, exploit it. Keep doing what you're doing if that's what you want to do.
This is what you're doing, and this is what you're good at. You're doing good at. Just take as much as you can until there's nothing else to take at this point. Just all I ask of these guys, like I've said it to my nephews when I talk to them: don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do. And when I mean that, what I'm talking about. Even those kids, I've had to fucking hear. They're talking about family, immediately judging because of previous relatives. It's just. Then, I tell everybody the same thing. Then go fucking complain about it. You got something, something, go. Never happens. Then shut the fuck up. How many times did they say on here? How many times did they say on Horseplop? Oh, Uncle Mikey, he won't say that. He won't this and that about Christopher. Then when I put on the Banamine positive, how could you say that about your own nephew? Because if he does something stupid, I'm going to say, I'll be tougher on him and say, don't do anything stupid. Stay out of trouble. Do you think I want to see them go down the wrong path, or just ignore it? Until they end up with, again, banned, years and suspensions. No, I don't want to see that. My kids do something wrong, I tell them that was stupid. Don't do that.
Well, they're being enticed too, because the situation with dealers and that someone can come in and take your whole business and put it in their hands and get a fraction of the money, and you're basically running it from behind the scenes. So
everybody seems to know everything, but nobody does anything about it. So you know what that tells me? They're full of shit. If you've got the smoking gun, don't just keep crying about it as a coward. Go turn it in. How many times have you seen people say, oh, the other day, even they brought up the Hanover fire. How come Petrelli hasn't talked about it? The fuck is wrong with these people?
Oh, that's that jerk off pussy too.
Whatever. But my point again is, or this happened. Why isn't Petrelli investigating this? First of all, why does Petrelli have to investigate anything? Because nobody else is, that's for sure. Some people say, it's obvious that the industry can't self-police. Well, that's because the criminals are running the show. The people that we need gone from the game are the ones that are running the game. Start with the executive.
He's pro harness racing, and he's got you pegged as anti-harness racing. And he's not pro harness racing. That's the thing. He's all about what is bad about harness racing, and what's sustaining is unsustainable.
Who?
Pacer too. The same people who are calling you out, like, why aren't you following this lead or following that lead? They're not really pro harness racing.
You don't, and like I already said to you again, you don't know who you're talking to on the other side. That's why I try not to acknowledge these people. That's why I don't want to do that anymore. I would rather have people on here that want to be themselves, and we talk about the industry, their experiences, good, bad, all of that. The same way normal people do when you're sitting in the same room talking to each other. You know, reality. I'm done with the other shit. Let them all sit there fucking jerking each other off.
On Flop. You want me to read some of the comments on Flop? Want to address any of this shit?
I literally just said, but you know what? I'm going to give you I'll let you have some. Go ahead. Let's hear.
No, I mean, one of them is asking, it said you made a comment that doctors, police, firemen, and teachers are starving. That's that Darnell's Rock Chihuahua cock.
Okay. My point is they deserve more for what they do. I think in the real world, nurses deserve more than the donation that's given to harness racing. Firefighters, let's round it down to first responders, okay, deserve more than harness racing that cannot stand on its own, abuses animals, abuses the public, abuses people, okay, enriches criminals and criminal activity every time a tube or a needle goes into a racehorse. That's my point. This is how fucking stupid people are. My point is there are far more deserving entities out there. Veterans who are having trouble, who are sick or missing legs or can't afford a home. Those are people who deserve the hundreds of millions of dollars that's injected to harness racing. Harness racing, for some reason, Jeff Gural said it best, they're indoctrined and entitled welfare recipients. That's what the man said to me the first time I met him. And he's right. I'm not saying that, again, all the people in the game are that way, but that's the way, that's the business model right now of harness racing. It literally leeches off everyone else. That money that's earmarked through state-generated funds, whether the form is in the racinos, casinos, the agricultural tax breaks, all that bullshit, right? Yeah. Could be earmarked for something a little more deserving than a dead industry that in the end doesn't give two shits what happens to the animals that it manufactures to use to race, to profit and earn, take that money that the state hands it. When do you hear that the purse structure at a racetrack is 80%, 50%, 20% supported by its handle or the money that it takes in at admissions, parking, concessions, souvenir stand, the way it used to be when it was an entity that people went to. Now it's support there. You've lost the people on site. You've lost most of your bottom line customers, which the people that supported it were gamblers, or the other people that those people brought into the grandstand that ate at your clubhouse, bought hot dogs, bought beer, pretzels, ice cream, programs, tip sheets, right? Paid to go in to get it for admission, paid to park, paid to sit in a clubhouse or at a box seat, or even like Monticello. When you go, if you still look in the grandstand, you see A, B, C, D, E, F sections. Because when you walked in, if you wanted to sit upstairs, you had to go downstairs, buy a ticket, and it would tell you which section and seat, like you were at a baseball game.
That hold on a second. That what you just said is one of the most amazing questions wrapped that you could hand over and have a legislator answer. That's how fucking good that question is.
I've already done it. I told you.
Should be prioritized. The firefighters, the veterans, the nurses, the people educating the children, and now all of a sudden, all these empty stands. Where's their fucking constituents with these fucking stands there?
And
right?
That's what I'm saying.
And then here you are, you wrap this up, and you ask the legislator this shit, this fucking shit stains.
Well, that's what what I'm saying is the states are catching up. Like when that clown Pretlow in New York said, well, how do we know that they're not, what did he say, that they're not buying this stuff for what? I forgot what it was. Some lame ass, when the guy from talking about the DeVita thing and the federal evidence that I exposed publicly a few, over the last 2 years, that the commission was aware of 2 years ago before I did, and they just swept it under the rug. And now they have all the communications proving that it was there. They have the communications that it was swept under the rug. He said, well, how do we know that they weren't buying these drugs for their dog or whatever it was, just something stupid, just really sticking it in. But now what's happening?
Don't you love when they make the argument for them? When they argue on behalf of the scumbag, they can't even be neutral then.
Well, there's no good answer, because the bottom line is you got caught. And now you got more and more organizations. Like I said, people don't understand how powerful PETA really is. This horse racing wrong thing with Nicole Arciello. Look what the people that I deal with in New York City, like Night Class, okay? They have the media and they have the connections. They lobby. They bring it. Adita was just up there 6 weeks ago in the state capitol, going back door to door with all this shit, okay? Once people realize, what do you mean? The people that vote for these guys that okay this money, what do you mean we're giving $240 million to harness racing? What? First of all, what the hell's harness racing? Oh, wait, is that the one? Wait, you're talking about the one that, what are you talking about? Oh, wait, when they had that thing where they busted all those trainers up in Orange County, New York, and they all went to federal prison because they were buying these drugs and doing this to these horses, or guys like Nick Surik who are making the dead horses go away. You know how many fucking horses I can get will go away for that guy? Those guys, the guys that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, killing horses, stealing money, cheating the public, those guys, that's who we're supporting. Meanwhile, look around us, right? And that's what I keep saying. Everyone says, oh, he hates harness racing. No, I keep asking, when are you going to do something to fix it? And maybe somehow get people to say, hey, like I just said to Rocky, on the weekends, what are you doing? Nothing. Where do you want to go? Let's go to the track. You don't hear that anymore. That's what made harness racing successful. Let's go to the track. And you'd go there and you met people and you knew where they, like I said, they all in the same spot. You made new friends. People came in and suddenly they want to buy a horse. That's what made harness racing successful. It's over. And nobody's doing a fucking thing about it. But when you got guys that care, and I'll just use me, okay? I came back with a friend of mine. He bought 3 horses. I was coming off some of the worst years of my life. And I said, you know what? Let's get back. Let me do that. It's something I know. I'm going to do it with a friend of mine who always wanted to own a horse. He never owned one before. We did. And I came back and I'm at the track and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't train today. Okay, I get it. But it was going into days, then weeks, and then the place is a sheet ice, and we come home from the Meadowlands, and we couldn't even pull into the barn area, and I get mad enough to go public and do a live stream in the jog cart saying they haven't worked the track all morning. It's 11:30 in the morning. What? I'm out there killing my kidneys, and next thing I know, I'm trespassed from the property, and I've never done a goddamn thing wrong. And then over time, when I started to learn, one thing led to another. They don't want anybody upsetting their apple cart. They don't care. And they make an example of, like I said, the little guys. New York State Gaming doing out-of-state competition testing in New Jersey at the New Jersey Farms. None of the big guys, little guys. I know who they are. I know when they've been there. What people don't realize is there are some good people who will secretly feed me information directly from the farms and the training centers, okay? And I protect them will never expose them. And I look into it. Is it true? Yeah, it is true. They can't do out of racing competition, out of competition testing in New York, because guys like Ford, Ferrari, all those guys fought tooth and nail to make sure it never happened here. I'm sorry, here in New York. I'm in New Jersey right now, but they can here.
You got great people on your social media. Even when you were really busy in Dreamland working on shit, you had people posting things like hot, right off the press. I mean, rarely we're getting that stuff on flop, but once in a while we'll get an insider.
If I looked at my phone today, I don't know, 10
blowing up,
10 different people sending me, whatever. Did you see this? This happened, whatever. And you know what? It's like when I'm working here, what you even tried to get hold of me today. What did I say? Can't talk. Click. I hung right up on you, right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. But I'm not going to waste my
busy.
time.
You're busy. I get it.
Because right now,
it's fine.
The most important thing is what I do up in Goshen, and especially right now, this place. This place right now is top priority. Because in the end, I don't gain anything by what I do. You know that. I don't make any money. People say, oh, he wants this, he wants it. I don't ask for anything. I was hoping that if people realize that there's some value in what I do, maybe they would. Because why should I do this for free? Right?
No,
I don't mean this. What I'm saying is when I'm able to make a positive impact or rid the game of something, some scumbag, right? That helps the people in the game.
Or you're going above and beyond because what you're doing is charitable, and you're doing under a for-profit, which is a big disadvantage for you, just to show that all these other nonprofits are self-serving and that you're absolutely not.
You said it to me.
You're not taking any tax benefits and nothing.
I will never be a 501c3. Bullshit. It comes at, there's so many reasons not to, and I know just by what I've learned around here through the rescues and some of these, that it really is. There's been some people around here that said, and even suggested it to someone that owns this farm. There's ways to make money with a 501c3 because that's the only reason they do it. It's not about helping the horses. You start a 501c3. You do all this stuff. The ruse is, oh, look, we love the horses. We save the horses. And meanwhile, you cut yourself a $170,000 check for salary. And it's all money that's donated. You don't have to earn anything. It's just a fucking scam.
I think the way that it works is that only 10% of your income or grants, whatever you have coming in, has to go to the charitable causes.
It's
so
insane.
90% can go, and there's no caps on salaries. Yep, I get that. I know the rules.
You name a board of directors, you name this person, treasurer, whatever, and then you got the person who's in charge of the operation. You can make yourself president. You put down 40 hours a week, and your salary $200,000 a year. There's one of these 501c3s that the person pays himself. I'm not going to say the name of it. $350,000 a year. There's a 501c7 called the USTA, which is a not-for-profit corporation. A not-for-profit corporation who's paying people hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing things. What is it? I think it's the Standard Bred Transition STA. Right? STA, whatever the hell they call it.
I'd love to see. You know what? I think I'll request their filing, which they have to provide.
Are you stupid?
You have it?
All you got to do is go on ProPublica. Go to ProPublica.
No, I don't mean the tax returns. I mean the original filing. They have it on there?
ProPublica will give you everything. Every year is $9.90. Right? Everything. The actual filings, including their original filing. Okay? So and it shows you everything, including their officers, employees, expenditures, the money they've taken, and you can. There's no hiding it. It's all right there. Like when I showed We were kidding around about the Goshen Historic Tract Board of Directors, and I said, I'm not saying names, right? But then I posted the BOD, right? All the names were listed there. And I said, now you guys figure it out. You know what I mean? But my point is, it's all there. They don't hide it. You know, if you notice that most of these people are friends or acquaintances that are given a position with a salary. And you know something? That's fine if what you're doing is genuine. But there's nothing genuine about what's done in harness racing. Imagine you create the animals, you abuse and use the animals, right? And then you dispose of the animals, right? And then you cry you need money to rescue the same animals you created and disposed of. Are you wrapping your head around this?
Yeah. I want to.
And then they go, oh, well, we have aftercare and we do rehabs. And then there's the Standard Bred Horse Show, which is right here, not too far from here every year.
What about retirement? What about taking some of the money from the purses so these horses have a nice retirement? Like the T-bred. They don't do that shit, right?
They're not going to give away a penny. Stop.
Oh, fuck.
We've already been there. Stop. The industry, they're complaining about like these tracks that are with these entry fees now, right? You think that they're going to allow anybody to take any percentage out for aftercare? Because you could never cover them all anyway. Too many horses are bred to be absorbed back into the system in any way. Okay, where are you going to put these horses? Someone said there should be a sanctuary. You know how big the sanctuary would have to be? Because it's not just standard breds. It's every other breed too. I'm not saying it's just standard breds, but we happen to be in this industry that creates, I think it's around what, 10,000 babies a year. Okay. I don't give a shit what anybody says. More than half of them end up going down, way more than a half, down the bad road, whether it's to the Amish, kill pens, brokers, carriage horses. Not how many people are out there in 2026 that is looking for horses to have in their backyard? It's not like it was 50 years ago. You go to Orange County, New York, there may be, I don't know, 15, 20% of the horse, let's just say horse acreage, and even little mini farms where people had a paddock and a little barn in their backyard. It's over. It's gone. Nobody does. It's just, there's not enough homes for these horses. Period. SRF, Standard Bred Retirement Foundation, is on the next road from here. They are busting at the seams. They can't take any more. And they're just warehousing them, and then it resets. And they only take horses off the track. They don't, they'll ask for rescuing and money, and they have satellite farms, they're on Facebook. But the reality of percentage of horses that end their career that find an actual home, it's negligible. I would rather see them, and they don't want to do this either, rather than be abused or go through this nightmare that they go through in these kill pens, kill lots, brokers, Amish being used on the, and then just driven into, they can't be driven anymore on pulling buggies. The ones that I see that make me sick in New York City, okay? I would rather see them being humanely destroyed, okay, than put through that fucking pain and nightmare and whatever. But they don't want to do that either, because then you can't process them for meat. Even though it's illegal, there's no slaughter here anymore in the States. But what they do is they ship them to Canada and Mexico, and then they're either slaughtered there or they're sold overseas, France, Italy, Japan, where they're a delicacy. But if you've ever seen a kill lot and you see what I call our horses with those freeze brands on them and those faces, and that this fucking industry patted itself on the back, Or at the beginning of the year, it's going to start happening again with the babies. You'll see Hanover, Diamond, all these Winback especially. They'll post the pictures of the babies, name the baby, right? Oh, they're so beautiful. No, you're only worried about what you're going to get for them at the sale next year. That's all you care about. Because once they're gone, you don't care what happens to them. I guess the only one that actually does reach in when they can is Hanover. It's disgusting.
2 hours, bro. What do you think? 2 hours.
What?
We're 2 hours in.
No, I'm done because I got shit to do tomorrow. I got materials to do. I come in tomorrow. I got things. Again, I'm not going to report in on anything that I'm doing here because it's nobody's goddamn business. The only thing that I will say is anybody that fucked around on this farm or thought they could, don't try anymore. Party's over. And that's all I got to say about that.
Great show, Mike. Thank you, bro.
All right, man. Well, like I said, we'll line somebody up. I want to line real people up. Okay? Real people, when they talk. I don't want, and you're not going to get them anyway. None of those guys are going to come and talk to me. I want to hear from the regular people in the game who just want to say it like it is. If they are not afraid to, that's the problem. Most are afraid because then they'll never get a job again. They talk to Petrelli. I would never suggest, unless it's someone on their own who just doesn't give a shit. The reason nobody likes me is because of what I just said. The fucking truth. But if you address the truth, that's the way to repair what's wrong. What's wrong? Well, right now, a lot's wrong.
They're too compartmentalized in bad guy mode.
What's that?
And they're making money.
That's the thing. Right now, they're making money.
They're simple.
So, they're pretty much on cruise control, just waiting for the well to dry.
Cruise control. Good one. Yep.
And again, I get that. It depends on what are you looking down the road. One thing I can tell you about people in harness racing is, for the most part, everyone is just, they've never seen past next week, And I mean, I remember sitting in the initial meetings with the Monticello Harness Horsemen's Association when they were initially getting the slots, and they were trying to work out the deal with management on the percentage. And I don't want to name names because a few of them passed away, but they would jump up. On one side, you got the officers of the Horsemen's Association. On the other side, you've got track management, right? And you're supposed to have a professional meeting and try to negotiate a deal that everybody's happy with. Then after that would happen, the horsemen would say, okay, let's just throw a number out there. We're going to put the initial deposit from the VLTs of $100,000 is going to be put in the purse account, okay? And then we're going to hand that off to be distributed by the race secretary. And I got to say this at first, people could say what including me. Back then, Joe Feraldo actually was looking long-term. Well, maybe you want to put a little on the side, right? For a rainy day. Let's say we don't know. The season slows down, the winter, the money doesn't. They would stand up and just scream, "We want our money." And they got their money. They ended up having $18,000 opens the first couple of years at Monticello. I don't know if you were around then, but when they first got their VLTs, Monticello's purses were ridiculous. But you know what happened? The big barns came in. And the little guys that were stable at Monticello Raceway all their lives, and in the same barns, the same crap jog carts falling apart, all that. They made a little more money, but suddenly they couldn't even compete at their own track. And then, it comes full circle. Now they're, they ended up they lost their racino. The deal that was made for the Newburgh off-track slots parlor never materialized the way they expected because Feraldo dropped the ball on that. So they're not seeing the money that they were expecting. It's doing better now because their overheads, Sean Wiles has done a good job of bringing the overhead down to help bring the purses up. They were doing fair with the handle, but they're not making the money they were supposed to. And now you're racing at a track that doesn't have a grandstand and has 5 people watching the races. And you can't even buy a hot dog in a barn area that's literally collapsing. And they just reported today, Resorts World, compared to from March 2026 to March 2025, is down another 4.5% revenue at the casino in Kiamichi. That's the parent. That's who owns Monticello Raceway.
Wow.
And they got their casino, same company that's got the casino at Aqueduct. Do you really think that they give a shit now about the one up here when they got that ready to launch? And they can have table games open any day now because they have a pre-existing building? They don't have to build the full-fledged place yet.
Right in the middle of the city.
Aqueduct, they're going to be the first on the block because they can get the other 2 places haven't even broken ground. Aqueduct has the pre-existing racino, so they can put the tables in there. Same way Gural did that at first before he expanded at Tioga. Just people just don't. I guess there's no way to fight there's no way for them to fight the system. That's the only thing that I can justify it by. And you don't dare, I say, yeah, well, all these big mouths, you got something to say, go up and go say it to Jason Settlemore. See how that works out for you. All right. Well, I think we should wrap this up.
All right, man. Thanks. Thanks,
All right.
Rocky. Thanks, Mikey.
All right. Like I said, we'll line somebody
Great
up.
show, bro. Thank you.
You got it.
All right, we'll talk about it.
All right.
All right, thank you, bro.
And everybody else, I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. We had a good consistent over 24 people live tuning in. Rocky had upwards of close to 36 people when he was on. That's good stuff.
And once
It's
Trigger
just starting to take off.
once Trigger gets the microphone, he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. Hey, on that note, have a good night.
All right, good night.
Peace.